Who are you supposed to be? The words came out steady, almost casual, as if I were asking about tomorrow's forecast. The kid standing in my kitchen at nearly 3 in the morning hadn't expected that tone, certainly not from a 51-year-old man wearing flannel pajama pants. My name's John Mercer, 20 years Navy SEAL, retired 3 years back. I had woken up thirsty, headed for a glass of water, and instead found a stranger digging through my drawers. Most men my age would have panicked, maybe dialed 911, maybe swung a bat. But me, 2 decades of missions in places I can't even name taught me one thing above all: stay calm, evaluate, and seize control. The intruder froze, crowbar clenched in his hands. Skinny kid, mid-20s, tops, jittery. His eyes flicked between me and the back door like a cornered animal. "Shut up and hand over your wallet and watch, old man," he barked, waving that crowbar. His hands trembled. I studied him like a target on a range. Junkie, no doubt. Desperate. The way he held that weapon told me he'd never struck anyone in his life. Sloppy grip, hesitation in his shoulders. "Amateur hour, you've got 2 choices," I said, folding my arms. 1, walk out right now and I'll forget you were ever here. 2, you push this further and you'll regret it. He laughed, actually laughed. "You? Stop me? You're old. I've got the weapon." What he didn't realize was that I'd already catalogued every advantage in the room: 3 disarm techniques, 2 exits, half a dozen makeshift weapons, the heavy skillet on the wall, the salt shaker within reach, and, of course, my own hands. "Your call," I told him. That's when I caught sight of the faint red light in the corner of the security camera my daughter, Rachel, had installed last Christmas. The system I'd complained was unnecessary. The one she linked to some cloud. I barely understood. It was recording. Every second, the kid made his move. He chose wrong. 3 years earlier, I'd left the SEALs with full honors. 20 years of classified operations, countries I'll never admit to, scars nobody sees. My wife, Karen, passed from cancer 5 years ago. After the funeral, the house in Boise felt cavernous, empty. Rachel worried about me living alone, surrounded by memories. She'd come down from Portland, hooked up cameras, sensors, and one of those smart doorbells. "Dad, you need to stay connected. What if something happens?" she said. I'd rolled my eyes, but let her set it up. After Karen, Rachel became my tether to civilian life. She called weekly, sent packages, fussed over me like I was fragile. I wasn't fragile. I was disciplined. The neighborhood had shifted, families moving in, new houses sprouting, but crime followed. Break-ins for cash, addicts chasing quick scores. My neighbor, Mrs. Patterson, had been robbed twice in a month. Her husband's old watch, her flat screen gone. She'd asked me to keep watch, knowing my history from block parties years ago. I told her I sleep light. "Don't worry." Now, standing in my kitchen, staring down this crowbar kid, I knew he thought I was easy prey. Just another old man in slippers. He was about to learn differently. Combat training doesn't fade. Even retired, I keep sharp. Daily runs, workouts, reflex drills. 2 decades of operations carve instincts you can't unlearn. I've been in 5 fights where hesitation meant body bags. Compared to that, this kid was a puzzle to solve, fast, efficiently. What I didn't expect was how this one encounter would ripple outward, changing everything. How one wrong move by him and one measured response by me would turn a quiet retirement into something else entirely. The little red light blinked on, capturing every second. Later, I'd realize it mattered more than the crowbar. He lunged, clumsy, wide swing at my head. I'd read his body the instant he shifted. Stepping inside the arc, I trapped his wrist, twisted, applied just enough torque. The crowbar clattered to the tile. In one motion, I had him face down, arm wrenched behind him, pinned by his own weight. "Stay down," I said, low and calm. He struggled for air, cheek pressed to linoleum. 10 seconds, that's all it took. 20 years of precision condensed into one moment. Not enough force to cripple, just enough to end the threat. "You broke my arm." He wheezed. "No," I answered, tightening slightly. "But I will if you keep moving." With my free hand, I pulled my phone and dialed 911. "This is John Mercer, 412 Maple. Intruder restrained. Need police. Are you injured, sir?" "Negative." "Suspect secured." The kid squirmed once more. I leaned, pressure flaring across his shoulder blade, and he froze, wallet on the floor. Tyler Jameson, 24 years old. Photos of a girlfriend, maybe a sister. a life about to take a sharp detour. You had a choice, I told him quietly. You picked wrong. I needed money, man. I'm sick. Everyone's got problems. Most don't break into homes to solve them. Sirens lit the street minutes later. Porch lights blinked on up and down Maple. Curtains shifted. By morning, the whole block would know. The officers were efficient. Collected the crowbar, cuffed Tyler, took my statement. Routine, except Officer Bradley's remark, textbook takedown, Mr. Mercer. Clean, no injuries. We'll need your security footage. Can you email it? I nodded. Though I barely knew how, after they left, I stood alone in the silence, adrenaline ebbing. The red light on the camera had stopped. Footage stored somewhere in cyberspace. Evidence for court. Or so I thought. The next day, Detective Sarah Walsh knocked with a tablet. Serious look. Mr. Mercer, we need to talk about the footage. There's been an error. Turns out Bradley uploaded it not to the evidence file but to the department's public social media feed. A click in the wrong folder. The result? 50,000 views in hours. And climbing, on her tablet, I watched it. Tyler slipping in through the back door. Me in pajama pants, calm as stone. The exchange. The disarm. The pin. Clear, unshakable. This is evidence, I told her. We're trying to pull it down, she said. But once it's online, I understood. Too late. By afternoon, my phone rang nonstop. News stations, neighbors, even Rachel. Dad, is that you on Facebook? Are you okay? I'm fine, I told her. Handled it. Handled it? Dad, you look like Jason Bourne in pajamas. That poor kid didn't stand a chance. By evening, 100,000 shares. Comments pouring in. Hero. Excessive force. Meme material. Everyone had an opinion. Tyler's mugshot surfaced. Worst burglar ever plastered across captions. I tried to stick to routine. Runs. Groceries. Coffee with vets. But everywhere I went, recognition. The mailman, joggers, clerks. Hell of a move, Mr. Mercer. It felt wrong. In the SEALs. Success meant no one knew you were there. Now my face was viral. My private moment, spectacle for millions. Tyler's lawyer pushed for assault charges. The DA dismissed them immediately. Clear self-defense. But the online court was harsher. Memes. Analysis. Commentary. I'd become a symbol I never wanted. The irony wasn't lost on me. Tyler had broken into steel. Instead, he stole my anonymity, my peace, my quiet retirement. 2 weeks later, the video hit 15 million views. Talk shows replayed it. Self-defense instructors broke it down frame by frame. Veterans praised the restraint. Detective Walsh returned. We've tied him to 3 other burglaries. Same mo. And there's more. You are on his list. He targeted elderly residents. Living alone. Your address? 12 others. Not random. Predatory. That shifted everything. Tyler hadn't just gambled on easy money, he calculated weakness. My face, my age, my situation. He thought I was prey. He'd failed at basic intel. Assumptions instead of research. And now his failure was a public masterclass. The trial drew crowds. Reporters, curious citizens. I wore my best suit, Karen's funeral suit, Rachel at my side. Tyler looked smaller than ever. Defeated, the prosecutor played the video. My calm voice, his threats, the swift resolution. Evidence. Irrefutable. The defense pleaded addiction, desperation. True maybe, but irrelevant. On the stand, I kept it simple. I gave him a choice. Leave or face consequences. He chose violence. I used the minimum force required. Was it excessive? The prosecutor asked. Absolutely not. If I'd wanted, he'd be in the hospital. Instead, I held him until officers arrived. Standard. The video shut down every counter-argument. The room was silent. Then Tyler spoke. Against advice, no doubt. I thought he'd hand me his wallet. Old guy alone. I never expected. He trailed off. I never expected him to be so professional. The judge's words were final. You targeted the vulnerable. You carried a weapon. You were given a chance to leave. You chose violence. 3 years prison. Restitution for his other crimes. But his real sentence was already viral. His humiliation replayed endlessly. Months later, a morning show interview. Mr. Mercer, 50 million views worldwide. What's your message to would-be burglars? I looked into the camera, thought of Mrs. Patterson, of every senior afraid at night. Choose differently, I said. Everyone struggles. But crossing into someone's home, threatening them, it's a line you can't uncross. And you never know who's on the other side of that line. Any regrets about giving him that warning? None. Everyone deserves a chance. He had his. The clip replayed everywhere. The courthouse footage, the memes, the breakdowns. Tyler's own expression when watching the video became another viral image. The moment he realized his life had collapsed, his name turned into slang for failure. Dating profiles joked, "No Tylers please." Parents used him as a cautionary tale. Security companies licensed the footage. Detective Walsh called months later. Burglaries down 60% in your neighborhood since the video. Words out. Tyler had tried to rob one man. Instead, he secured a whole community, but his personal life shattered. Job rejections, housing refusals, family strained under the weight of humiliation. Even distant relatives distanced themselves from the worst burglar ever. Redemption impossible. His footprint online was permanent. Meanwhile, I was handed a community service award, neighbors applauding. Mrs. Patterson started a watch program. Sometimes justice isn't about punishment. It's about people living with the consequences of their choices. Tyler learned the hard way, and I learned that even in retirement, peace is never guaranteed.